Yeah, my name is Purnima Nath. I'll spell that for you. P as in Paul, U as in umbrella, R Robert, N Nancy, I India, M Mary, A America.
Okay.
And my
And
last name is
Nath,
Nath, N-A-T-H, N as in Nancy, A as in Apple, T as in Tom, H as in Harry.
okay, great. Okay. So, can you first tell me a little bit about your politics already? Where do you fall in terms of the political sphere right now?
Let me just give you a background of who I am. Not sure if you know about,
Sure,
but
yeah. Go ahead.
that'll absolutely help you understand my position later on with the questions you pose. So I'm a citizen of America. I came here 20 years ago as an engineer. My stature in the United States is very much assimilated as an American, but I have not forgotten my root. I was born and raised in India, and I came from India as an engineer through my job. And what my culture as an Indian taught me is India as a country is extremely diverse and super populated. We have 1.38 billion people, second largest populated country in the world. And from a context perspective, we have about 4-5 times of population of America versus in a space which is 1/3 of America. Okay, so it's vertically strong and up high. Basically, people are building up. It's extremely populated, very diverse through languages, religious diversity, dressing perspective, whether it's a skin color perspective, we have all those diversity. You literally can see fairer people versus a little darker skinned people in the south. North Indians usually use mustard seed oil for cooking versus sesame seeds, that's oil that is used in the South India. So tremendous amount of diversity in the small area. And culturally, India has well, at least from a perspective of number game, in 79% Hindus and rest minority. Out of it, 14-15% is Muslim and rest is Christian, Buddhist, Jains, and other religious folks. So culturally, what we have learned, coexisting with different kind of diversity. And if you can imagine, India is a country that houses 4 times the population of United States in a fairly smaller area with such diversified communities. India as a country has managed very, very well, right? So that is what we bring in. You will never see, you can go ahead and do your research and look up history. We have never gone to any country to overtake that country. We have never gone anywhere to impose our beliefs. We as a Hindu Indian American were very, very accepting and tolerant about diversity, and we know what multiculturalism is because we lived in it. And so to answer your question, what politically where I stand, I tell you something that you may or may not like based on your bias, political bias, okay? So, but I'll be honest here. I recently ran for Milwaukee County Executive in the latest election, and my position, my policies aligns with 3 aspects, which is freedom, tolerance, and safety. America was built on freedom, so you don't suppress anybody's voice. Number two is tolerant, and America is also a diversified democracy. It's not as big as India. India is the largest democracy, and America is the oldest democracy. So there's tremendous amount of alignment with India and US. From a safety and security perspective, of course, America is very well developed country, and that is exactly why I chose to come here. Nobody forced me to come over here, right? So the reason I came over is because of course I would have a better life over here. Of course America is developed country. Of course America does not force me to be somebody who I am not. So those fundamental alignment with America was there already for me to choose to come to America. Now, those are the fundamental beliefs I also have coming from India. Of course, India as a country is not as rich as America, development-wise, as well as the ability that somebody could grow, because as you know, India, for after it got its independence from British in 1947, it was ruled by communist left-leaning parties, and we really didn't have much development, and tremendous amount of poverty is there, 68 to 70%. So for me, fundamentally, as a country, from where I was born to where I chose to come as a worker, there was alignment already. I was safe here. I will be tolerated because of whoever I am, and I have the freedom to speak. I have the same thing I had in India as well. I have the freedom to speak. I am tolerant. We are tolerant. We have lived with the different communities, as well as we're a peaceful country in overall perspective, if you look at it, and as well as in safety. People just normal people just don't not involved in governmental decisions or anything like that. They're just more interested in making sure they have home and food and shelter, and they're making sure their kids are studying and etc. That's the very humble background I came from. So politically speaking, my policy is aligned with things that America or my community, Milwaukee County, was safer. From a law enforcement perspective, people are not going to simply just going to go and shoot somebody and know there is not going to be in law and order. And from a perspective of policies, I'm a free person. Nobody can shackle me, put a shackle around me. And I came from this with the same kind of belief. I ended up in the same kind of belief as well. So I want to make sure that we have a very healthy community where you can speak up without being afraid of getting shut down. And what is happening in our country, what has happened in our country for the last 3 years and 9 months almost, is very disappointing to me, and that is why I ran. As a community leader, I have founded Spindle India, which is what we do India Fest through. I do consulting, management consulting, and I'm an engineer, and I have obtained my MBA from Northwestern University, and that's who I am as a person. Extremely assimilated in this country. The values aligns with me, and I want to make sure that the country has given me as well. And I told you before, I would not have come here or chosen to come here if this country didn't align with my personality or my values and principles. And there is significant amount of alignment with India to America.
Have you decided who you're going to vote for in the November election?
I mean, I'm certainly willing to answer that question if it is not taken out of context and tonality is different. Yes, I certainly have chosen who I want to vote. But I'm not sure if it aligns today for our discussion.
Okay. I'm just trying to get a baseline of, where your politics are, so
Sure.
that informs the conversation about, your reaction to Kamala Harris. Like, if you're,
Yeah.
not a fan of the Biden
Absolutely.
Kamala, ticket,
Yes.
then I assume that would also inform how you respond to some of those
Oh,
questions.
yeah.
So I'm just trying to get kind of a
Yeah,
baseline of,
absolutely.
where you're at and where you're coming from.
Yes, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So, can you tell me what was your reaction when Kamala Harris was chosen as Joe Biden's vice presidential pick? What did you think of that?
I think I expected it, so I was not shocked. So it was the talk of the town anyway.
Yeah.
There was several other candidates, but somehow I had expected it to be Kamala Harris.
Okay. And, with her being the first Indian American person, an Indian American woman on a major party's presidential ticket, what does that mean to you? Does that send you any particular kind of message? What do you take away from that?
I mean, we are born at a country, at a parent's house that it's already written, and there is a saying in Hindi, actually, in fact, I'll also explain it to you. It says, Janma, Maran, and Vivah, meaning three things, okay? Birth and death and your marriage is actually already written before you come to the earth, okay? It is not your choice. It's written, it's based on your past karma, it's based on what you have done and what you have chosen to do in this life. So nobody knows where, we certainly have contract above. I could have been born in America too, right? But somehow I was born in India, but I chose to come to America, right? Similarly, she was born in an Indian American's house. But that, honestly speaking, though, that is her ethnicity. You can't change it. Does it really make her Indian, though? Wearing a sari once or making a idli once, it doesn't make anybody Indian. Also, you have to look at their past history. From a work perspective, she and her family, they go more by Black American than an Indian American. Her sister Maya has put a tweet out there, and the tweet said about, I actually wrote it down for you, that day when a little girl from Oaktown became the first black woman to be a major party vice presidential nominee. So that kind of tells you what she is, first of all. Second, from her past perspective, I mean, we celebrate Indian Independence Day here as an Indian American every year on August 15th, and I have not seen her in the past saying anything, but this year she certainly wished Indian Independence Day. Is it because she wanted Indian American votes? And Biden, Harris, both of them came out and laid out their requests to vote Indian American votes. From a policy perspective, we all know she really was the executor of 94 crime bill of Mr. Biden. The first time Senator Miss Harris also pushed through Green New Deal that was going to cost America $93 trillion. Today we are, as a country, we are also at a deficit of $20 to $23 trillion. So where is the money going to come from? From rich billionaires or raise taxes? We also know what she has done to Brett Kavanaugh in terms of crucifying for Dr. Ford's acquisition. It was not even corroborated. We also saw what her record in terms of DA. As a DA, she incarcerated more black than anybody else. And her own district, her own state, it's filled with drugs and crimes and tents and homeless. It's not a presidential race from a normal perspective. It's also a race for a race. So she's trying to choose between race. She's black or she's Indian. So whenever she sees an opportunity to use Indian American, the Indian American race is going to be used. When is the black American is used. But we see there is a BLM support, but at the same time, in the past, she believed Dr. Ford, but she didn't believe Tara Reid. She believes she is an icon of black American today, but in the past she incarcerated more blacks. And from India perspective, she stood against India. Recently, all the anti-CA resolution that is getting passed against India, and India as a country has gone through, for thousands of years we have gone through invasions, we have gone through atrocities. Hindu Brahmins were killed. Her mother is a Hindu Brahmin who baptized herself and converted to Christianity. She doesn't know what happened to Indian Hindus. Well, how can she be Indian? I'm very much concerned about it when somebody is out in the open as a black American, but suddenly during election time she becomes Indian American. I would think that, if anybody who is nominated for the topmost position of this country is fair, is driven by fairness and integrity, not driven by hatred of personal ambitions and opportunity. She may become, if she wins, she may as well become a president, because we already know Joe Biden has a lot of cognitive difficulties right now. Today I saw a news, or actually information coming through, where Dr. Biden, his wife, was saying should not be questioned about cognitive abilities. Why shouldn't we? We are the voters. We are the normal people. We are going to be the one deciding who's going to be the president of the country next. How can we not ask a question? So are we in a country where freedom is getting snatched? Are we in a country where our voice is getting suppressed? Are we in a country that we cannot speak, where our accounts are getting shut down in Facebook and Twitter, and it completely under control by communist agenda? Are we in China? China has a state government that controls the media. People don't even have a WhatsApp over there. So are we getting there? Is that where we're getting? Where is my freedom? This is not the country I chose to. So I have a concern about, when somebody says she's Indian American, is she really Indian American? How long did she celebrate Indian heritage? Or is it only comes up during the election time? And then she's a first time senator too, to begin with. Before that also we have elected somebody who was only 3 years into the Senate position as a country's president. But then, yes.
Purnima, just to cut in, just so I understand, so are you saying that basically regardless of what she practices or not, she is, Indian American? Are you saying that you don't pay as much attention to that part of her identity? You're more focused on her policies, and that you don't even really see her as Indian American so much because she doesn't practice some of the cultural customs? Is that what I'm hearing? Is that what think of it?
Yes and no. So it's not about practicing somebody's traditions or anything. It's about being who you are. She is ethnically Indian American, but does she really say about it? Is she proud of it? Her mother was a Hindu American or Hindu Indian Brahmin who baptized into Christianity. She is baptized herself. She doesn't talk about she's Indian American mostly, just like I do. I say I'm a Hindu from India. I landed in America. I'm an American citizen, but I do have a root in India. So her story is different. She doesn't align with Indian American, which only pops up during election time frame from Indian American votes. So I don't really look at her as an Indian American, as you rightly pointed out. Number one. Number two, I question about her authenticity. I also am concerned about where her allegiance is because of this, because suddenly you're looking at a person who's aligning, trying to identify, fit into all different kinds of areas or identity politics. She's trying to fit into the Baptist folks, she's trying to fit into the American black American folks, she's trying to fit into the Indian American folks. I mean, I do question, I'm concerned about her loyalty, whether she is really abiding constitution of this country or American citizen of this country, or she is really interested in illegal Americans who's for vote bank, or because her Green New Deal, it was less of a climate change or versus more of a how to take care of illegal Americans coming through in this country and how to pay for them, whether it's healthcare and education and things like that. So I'm really looking at her as from the policy perspective. Whoever we are from ethnically, I'm least bothered about it. I'm bothered about America. I'm bothered about safety of America, as I'm also bothered about essence of America. Miss Kamala Harris, what has she done as a senator to stop the BLM riots that is happening? How many times did she really condemned? That has happened. That is happening in Seattle and Portland. Portland and Seattle is burning. The Chicago streets are murders happening every single day. Every single week we see information coming out. 100 shot, 4 dead, 15 dead, 17 dead, like that. Every single week we can report. And we have our streets are crime filled, our homes are getting unsafe, and the BLM riots are happening right now in the streets, in the place where people live. And I saw a video the other day in Seattle. They were the BLM rioters were going into the suburbs and telling them, you guys are occupying our space, this is a historically black neighborhood, get out of here, we want to get our home. What kind of country are we in right now? I mean,
so Purnima, just to put politics to the side for 1 minute, do you feel any kind of pride that another Indian American has made it possibly one step closer to the White House? Does that kind of enter your thinking at all? You know, is this a symbol of progress, I guess, at all for you, that there's more diversity in, you know, the highest office in the country?
Sarah.
Possibly.
Sarah, I come from India. We had a woman Prime Minister in India in 1966. Mm-hmm. Okay, so whether it's a woman, whether it's a man, doesn't really matter. What I look for is a capability and merit and ability to do the job that she or he or XYZ wants to do. She may very well become a president of this country, 1 year or so down the line, because we see there is a problem over here. I'm not going to say whether it's a progress or it's not a progress. I look at it from a competency perspective and capability perspective. Is she able to uphold the constitution of American values? I am in America. It doesn't really matter whether she's a Indian, she is a French, she is a black, she is a white. It really doesn't matter. What is the constitution about? What is this country about? Is she able to do the job? But based on her policy, I'm concerned about it. And if she is trying to invoke about her Indian American ethnicity because she wants to get Indian American votes, it's not working for me or people like me, because I'm more interested in the policies, more interested in what the country needs at this point, because it's a chaotic position at this point. I mean, if you are able to elect a woman American, why not? But it should not be based on the race. But this is how it's coming across. The reason she was chosen, it was because she's a woman, it's gender based. Also, she is because she's a African American, she's black American, not because she was Indian American. So it is a race and a race war of a race today. I'm sorry to say that this country doesn't, or no country deserves this. What you or what we all must look at is how this country should grow, number one, how this country should be safer, number two, and how we should keep uphold American Constitution, which is freedom and liberty. Right now my voice is getting shut down too because of my politics, and as I told you before, based on your bias, you might not even like me what I'm saying, but that is who I am, and that is what I feel. I think this country, we need to go beyond the race, beyond that identity politics. It doesn't matter woman or man. Pick up the best person that is necessary, that is needed for this country. And you and I, coming from India and coming to America, I know there's a democratic process, values. You are able to vote for it, so vote for the right person, not because she's a woman, not because she's a 6 foot tall. She's not even 6 foot tall. She's XYZ, she looks that, she looks like that, her hair is like that. That is racism to me. I may not be 6 foot tall, I may not be, the fashion industry will not take me. Can I just stand right there and yell at them? They must take me because I'm XYZ, I'm Indian American. Should they? I should have that quality to push forward whatever they're looking for, right? Whether I have the height or not. So our country is going through such an identity crisis right now. We're trying to give position because of race, because of gender, because of XYZ, which these are not qualification. You can't change somebody's height. I want to make sure that our country is in the right hand, and the Indian American ethnicity, well, I would be happy for no matter who it is. But the person have to be the right person and capable enough to manage the country. But her past, her policies doesn't give me any kind of confidence.
Right. And I understand that you want to look at the policy as well, and I think most every voter would agree with you that you can't just look at someone's gender or their race when you're deciding who to vote for. But yeah, so you're saying that you don't feel any kind of pride that there is an Indian American woman who's on a major presidential ticket.
I just told you
that doesn't really enter into the conversation or into your thoughts. Yeah.
It wouldn't, because if she was a real Indian American, I probably would have felt, okay, yeah, great, I feel good. But she's not even a real Indian American. So it's, you can't just invoke your Indian-Ness during the election time for getting votes. I'm not, we're not uneducated people who doesn't know who to vote for. Just because your color is brown, or black, just because you can say we're black and brown. There's a huge difference between black and brown, by the way, from a racial perspective. So you can't say brown and black. She's of course a mix of brown and black. But we personally, we are brown. We're not black. So racial differences are there. So if you look at it from a perspective of am I proud? I'm absolutely proud for anybody who's nominated. But the fact that she's nominated because she's black, she's a woman, and of course in the campaign trail, what we have seen, what she has done to Joe Biden, she literally stripped him out. From a perspective of racist, from a perspective of sexist nature. But how can she then work? If she's if she really believes and believed what she said in the debate trail, how is she able to work for him? And so I'm looking at her as from her policy, from what she said in the past. She's untrustworthy. It doesn't matter whether she's Indian American or not. Right? It doesn't really matter to me what her skin color is or her ethnicity is. What she said during her trail, her past record, how did she get to become a DA? We all know. This is a very concerning to me because she's invoking certain things during her campaign trail in order to get certain votes. Indian American votes are very, very important now. This entire community, the 5 million Indian Americans, are not stupid people. They have the money. They are very highly educated. So these votes are not cheap. So you can't just invoke your Indian-Ness. Tulsi Gabbard is a lot more Indian than Kamala Harris. Tulsi Gabbard is a Hindu, and she upholds her in Hindu values as well. She talks about it as well. How many times have I ever seen Kamala Harris talk about Indian-Ness or her Hindu background or her Indian background? From a policy perspective, she is standing against India with Kashmiri Muslim separatists. How can she be Indian American? So how can I be proud of her? I cannot be proud of her, somebody who's utilizing and misusing her Indian American ethnicity. I cannot be. I'm an Indian born person and living in America as a citizen. I have that's my motherland. That's where I was born. This is where I came to. This is my work land, and this is where I'm going to die. But at the end of the day, how can she be Indian American? In her entire life, I have not seen one single thing she's talked about Indian American. Today she talks about American, her Indian mother, where her father's family owned slaves, and she doesn't talk about that. Her mother is important because Indian Americans' vote is important today. Now, I've seen the differences between Kamala Harris and Tulsi Gabbard. She is more Hindu and more Indian than Kamala Harris. She's leftist, far leftist, introduced Green New Deal that is going to cost us $93 trillion. Where is the money going to come from? Policy is very important for me, not her skin color, not her ethnicity also.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay. I think that's all the questions I had, Purnima. Is there anything else that you wanted to add that I didn't ask about?
No, I think we talked about how her policy is so anti-Indian. She cannot be an Indian American, and as an Indian born, I cannot be for her because she's standing against India today, and that's very important for me. And then also from a perspective of what did she do? I mean, today she's August 15th. She wished in Indian Independence Day. What did she do in the last 10 years? I want to see the record. I have not seen any. Today she's utilizing Indian American Independence Day to come and say that I'm Indian American. That is opportunist. That is kind of a way of getting votes. And I would be happy for no matter who the nominee is. Or I'm unable to be proud when she's standing against my mother country. And if her mother was really for India, her mother would have at least told her, what are you doing? You're going against, obviously her mother went against her own religion, came over here, became a Christian, and then she is a Christian. She's no Indian. She goes to India once with her parents or so, or mother or so, to see her grandparents, and suddenly she became Indian. She is not an Indian by her talks, by her past record, by even now. Today she is not an Indian because she's standing against India with Kashmiri separatists. So she cannot be Indian. Just because her ethnicity is Indian doesn't make her Indian. So I'm not proud because
she grew up with an Indian mother. I mean, does that not count for anything?
That's what I'm saying. I just explained. So Indian mother came over here. She became a Baptist Christian, and her mother took the kids to India and made idli, wore a sari. Doesn't make her Indian, because whatever she practiced over here was nothing Indian. And I just told you one of the quote. I have a quote right in front of me.
There are Christian Indians.
No, there are Christian Indians, of course, but her mother was a Brahmin, Hindu Brahmin Indian. And then she came over here, she transferred, she completely changed. And then today, whatever their age is, today her sister Maya Harris writes that day when a little girl from Oaktown becomes the first black woman. What happened to, in the same tweet, what happened? She can't say first black Indian American woman. She couldn't have written it over there. So I'm telling you from a perspective of what is a psyche of their family is. They are not Indian American. Even her sister is not able to say first black Indian American. She wrote first black woman. Why did she do that? Why did she do that? I would have loved to see her sister said first black Indian American woman. I would have loved, this tweet is not even a week old. I would have loved to see that.
Okay.
So she is Indian American? How? Based on what? Her sister doesn't say it. She never says it. Just because you wear a sari, you become an Indian American? I would be proud of anybody who is a right VP and from a capability, merit and ability perspective. Her past, her policies doesn't matter at all, and she literally is abusing at this point. And to me, that is shame. And to me, that is not America deserves. American people have a right to have these concerns. I'm speaking from a perspective of American public. We have a right to know exactly what she's thinking. The way she grilled Kavanaugh in stage because of Ford, and today she comes and she doesn't believe Tara Reid and she's working for Biden when she herself stripped him campaign trail in the debate. Who is she? What is she saying? How do I trust her? She's untrustworthy in my mind, in the lens that I'm looking at.
Well, Purnima, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. I really appreciate you doing this, and I appreciate you doing it late at night. So,
oh, no problem.
Thanks again.
I appreciate that. So, go ahead.
I'll let you know if I have any follow-up questions, but that should be it. So yeah, I'll give you a call or anything if I have any follow-up questions.
No worries. What is your email address?
Yeah, it's SVOLPENHEI@gannett.com. That's spelled GANNETT.com.
SVOLPENHEIN, correct?
No M.
Oh,
just an @ sign.
Wait, SVOLPENHEI.
Correct.
Oh, no M.
Yes,
okay, no M
they
or
left off the last letter in the email address.
Okay, I see. So it's Volpenhein, no M or N, but your
Correct.
name is M, right?
Yeah, it's an N.
Oh,
it's
N.
a name.
Got you. N. Okay, and then Gannett.com. Can I send a follow-up email with my bio shortly so you can?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that'd be fine.
awesome. Can I add one quick thing for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that whatever I said, you understand, and then there will not be any situation of misquoting or anything.
Yeah, sure.
Perfect, awesome. Basically, I'm saying that I will be happy for anybody, but it's not because she's a particular ethnicity. I come from a country where we had a woman prime minister, which is this equivalent of president of United
Right.
States in India in 1966. I'm talking about 60 years ago. So
Right.
so I'm not worried about women or progress of women. I think we are all breaking ceilings right now. It's a myth that we're not getting, women are not going anywhere or so. We have so many people doing so many wonderful things. Even in sitting in NASA team, scientists are women at this point. So I'm not worried about it. And our culture is, our Indian culture is extremely old, ancient culture, that women doing lot more than what we are doing today. Things have changed, of course, but I would love, it's not about wanting to see a woman doing well or not. I think we are doing well. It's all jobs, every job should be merit based, not based on race, not based on skin color, not based on gender, not based on religion. Not it should be, and
Right.
America has that kind of job expectation of equal opportunity employer. So she is also applying for a job, so why she should be selected based on race and gender and ethnicity?
Yeah, I don't think anyone's saying she should be. It's just, at the same time, it is historic that she's on the ticket.
and
being that
it's
you know, it's
basically
mostly
a
white men who are running for president.
unspoken expectation that you must elect a woman. That's not how it should be. Yes,
Okay.
it should be merit based. I'm all for merit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for merit.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And she's very
Yes,
capable.
I think you made yourself very clear. So,
Yes, she's a lawyer. She's very well spoken. She grills everybody
right.
except herself. So I am concerned as a normal person. America deserves better. We should not go down the drain. Literally are stuck in the name of race and gender and religion.
Okay. Well,
Right?
thanks so much, Purnima, for sharing your perspective. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you so much, and look forward to hear from you. I'll send a follow-up email.
Okay.
Thank
Great.
you, Sarah.
Have a good night, okay?
You too. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.